If you're in the market for an affordable 13-inch Ultrabook, then I might have the right machine for you. Introducing the Xiaomi Air. The Air is a surprisingly powerful machine packed with everything you would want from a premium notebook, but without the premium price tag. Some of its key features include an Intel dual-core i5 processor, 8GB of DDR4 RAM, 256GB of SSD storage, full HD display, a backlit keyboard, and even a fingerprint scanner. Okay, so what's the catch? Well, there is one slight issue.
你好，我是小娜，让我来帮你。我们会帮助你登录联网，配置电脑，你很快就能开始使用了。
Yes, as you probably guessed it, it comes pre-installed with a Chinese version of Windows 10. However, don't let that put you off at this point, because if you check out the description below, I will leave a link to where you can convert it into English. And unlike the majority of the videos on the internet already, I do have a way to convert it completely for free. So let's kick this off by talking about what's inside the box. The first thing you'll come across is the Xiaomi Air 13 sealed in plastic wrapping, which actually has a more premium Apple feel to it than standard Chinese packaging. We then have a Xiaomi branded envelope with some information written in Chinese, feel free to translate. And finally, we have a rather large 2-pin style USB Type-C charger. The charger can charge up to 3 amps to support the fast charging, and it is rated between 100 to 240 volts, meaning it could be used outside the US and China. But personally, USB chargers are so cheap now, I would just pick one up for your region. Taking a closer look, on the left side you have one full-sized HDMI port, a full-sized USB 3 port, as well as a headphone jack. On the other side you have another full-size USB 3 port, as well as the charge port, which is a USB Type-C. Now the sad part about this is, it isn't a Thunderbolt port, but it still supports fast charging and USB 3 speeds. When you open the lid, you'll be presented with a full-size backlit QWERTY keyboard, as well as a decently sized trackpad with the embedded fingerprint scanner. And underneath you'll find the stereo speakers. In general, this is a really premium feel to it. It's completely aluminium, it's got a little bit of weight to it without being too heavy, and it really does look the part. Along with the great sized trackpad, as well as the backlit keyboard and the glossy black display, which we'll get to shortly, it really does look like something that costs twice as much. But however, as you'll see here, it even fits into the same form factor as a MacBook Pro. However, it's not all great. There were 2 areas that I found that weren't that impressive, one of them being the slightly spongy keyboard. While it does type well, I can imagine for a few people this would be a bit of a niggle. And the other is the 1 megapixel camera. As you can tell, it's not particularly the best quality. If you are someone who does plan on using this for Skype or video conferencing, then it might be worth looking into an external webcam. So now we've talked about its hardware, let's talk about its software. Booting into Windows 10 is a relatively quick process. It takes about 10 seconds. For general Windows usage, it works flawlessly, whether you're opening up a document in Microsoft Office or you're browsing the internet. In fact, I was even impressed with the quality of the audio from the stereo speakers. I would say it's not the best sound I've heard from a laptop, but definitely the best of something of this price point. And just as a quick test, I can confirm that it is working with the AC chip. As you can see here, I'm downloading and uploading at my broadband capacity. And the Xiaomi Air has absolutely no problems over my Wi-Fi network. Using the fingerprint scanner was easy and painless. It worked flawlessly at recognising my fingerprint, and with a couple of minutes I was ready to go. Windows does guide you through the process where you just keep on tapping the fingerprint scanner until it recognises your fingerprint. Then when you go to log into Windows, it's a simple tap and you're straight in. I found that in general the battery life is pretty decent. You don't get anywhere near to the 9.5 hours stated on the website, but it does seem to reach around the 7-hour mark on general use. However, the fast charge port is a delight and it does reach around the 50% charge mark in about 30 minutes. So if you are running low on juice and you can get to a plug socket, you know at least you can charge the battery quickly. I do like to do the Photoshop test to see how well a device handles importing a RAW and exporting it again, and once again this laptop has no problems whatsoever. Photoshop is quick to launch, there's no delay in response when I'm making the changes to the photo, and exporting out of Photoshop is quick and painless. So because it handled the Photoshop test relatively easily, I thought I'd give Premiere Pro a go. So I imported 4K footage from my DJI Mavic Pro, and I was able to make some minor adjustments, rotation, add effects, and then export it. And the export did take about 2.5 minutes, and the file is relatively small. However, it does show you that this laptop is capable, but personally I would only probably use this for 1080p footage and not 4K. But once it's rendered, it plays it back flawlessly. Now, when we're talking about graphically intensive software, then nothing can be more graphically intensive than gaming. Now, when I talk about gaming, I normally get a lot of mixed reactions. I tend to say that something isn't suitable as a gaming machine, other people tell me it is, but it all depends on what you play. Now, as comparison, I've got 2 games. The first one is Battlegrounds, which is still in development and available on Steam. The second is BioShock Infinite, which came out a few years back, and therefore doesn't require something as intensive. So as you can see already on the Battlegrounds game, there are a lot of drop frames. You might not be able to see it on camera, but we get in between 25 to 35 frames a second, and we've not even entered the main game yet. Also, I have set the settings to the lowest possible in order to try and make it playable. However, comparing that to BioShock Infinite, I'm getting a consistent 58-60 frames a second. So it is capable of playing slightly older or less graphically intensive titles. However, if you are considering picking this up as a gaming device, you might want to consider other options. Something else to note while gaming is this laptop gets hot. Now on the top it was about 50 degrees, and as you can see on the bottom it was about 40-41 degrees. Which isn't hugely high, but if this thing is on your lap you're going to notice it. So overall, I've been very impressed with how well thought out the Xiaomi Air is. You are getting a very well spec'd machine, jam-packed with premium features, that sits in a price point well more affordable than its competitors. Don't get me wrong, it does have its niggles, such as shipping with only a Chinese version of Windows, and its average gaming performance, but in general I think it's a great device. If you are thinking of picking one of these up, I have left a link in the description below. Also, if you have any requests, questions, or just want to say hi, then leave your messages in the comments section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching and have a great day.